Alright, so in this video we're going to move the intake air temperature sensor out of the MAF and into the charge pipe going into the throttle body. So the reason I'm doing this is because really when the car's driving it's fine and the IAT is pretty much ambient temperature, but as soon as you stop in traffic the MAF housing, because it's a billet housing, just gets really hot. Like, yeah, I'm seeing temperatures anywhere between 40 and 60 degrees, and that's because it's on top of the radiator. So when the fans kick in, it's absorbing the heat and it's just holding it. It takes 5 or 10 minutes for it to cool back down again to a normal temperature. So it's really messing with the MAF calibration, and yeah, I just want to get that sorted. So moving the intake air temp sensor out and away from the MAF and into just before the throttle body. So we're just going to get stuck into this, get it done, and then have a look at some logs and see what we're looking at. Okay, so what we're doing now is we've been having a lot of problems with the air temperature sensor in the MAF because it is right above the radiator. If I'm sitting in traffic for more than, say, a minute and a half, the thermo fans are going, this heats up, and then this heats up, and this takes a lot to cool down. Because it's billet, once it gets warmed and gets heat soaked, it only cools down when you start driving again. And I've seen temperatures of like 52 degrees, which means when I put my foot down, the MAF multiplier for IAT corrections is coming into play and taking like 10% out. So pretty bad thing. So we're moving. I've got to find which wire it is in the back here. And remove the temperature sensor wires from this and route it into there. So I did have the they call it the jet air mixture vacuum going to here, but I had it blocked off because obviously when I put the breath speed manifold in, the recommendation is don't use it. So I just blocked it off. So I've taken out the barb fitting from here and put this in. So now I just got to grab the two wires from temperature sensor in here, which come out to just here. So I'm going to pull this off. If I can, undo that zip tie, pull the whole thing off, it comes this way. So I did extend it and comes out to here. So yeah, I've just got to take it out from here, find out those two wires, chuck that douches connector, whatever the fuck it's called, onto those wires, or extend it, and then connect it up, and that should fix our problem. Okay, so thanks to the internet, we've got the pin 5K on the ECU is IAT sensor, MAF, which goes to the MAF IAT sensor, and then ignition switch is on, and it's got the ranges. So have a look at this. So sensor ground is so that's pin E, and then pin D is 5K, which matches to that one, and that is a red with black stripe. So if we go have a look at the MAF, and we have that one there, which I've followed there, which is red with black. So that's our signal wire. And I just need to confirm if that's a 5-volt source or a ground source. Alrighty, so what we've done is I've chopped that red wire from here, which is that red one there, which has a 5-volt line on it. So, and I've rerouted it through to the sensor and just put that there so I can have a little bit more play there. So if I need to move it, I can, but essentially that's just going to go like that, and that's going to go there like it was and get pushed down behind here. So everything stays the same, it's just now there's a sensor there instead of in here. So under here, I didn't record it, unfortunately. So the red with black wire is your 5-volt source, and then the black with grey stripe is the ground. So that's a ground reference, and it uses the 5-volt. It measures the resistance and gives you a reading. So currently it's about 18 degrees Celsius out here, and it's picking up at its 13 degrees, so I might have to correct it a little bit, but I didn't check it before I did that one. But it is going into a piece of aluminium that's a little bit colder than ambient temperature, so yeah, it works. And yeah, we'll see what happens now that it's not in there. Hopefully it doesn't correct so much, but yeah, now we'll see if the intercooler is actually working, because yeah, this is after the intercooler, obviously going into the throttle body there. So if the intake air temperature senses reading high value, then we will look at a new intercooler. Alright, something else that happened the other day, I was testing the boost controller out, and the car started playing up. It turns out this little fucking pipe here popped off, so I've had to put a couple of hose clamps on there. So I only went to 9.8 psi, which is pretty much my limit on this motor. And yeah, after I went to a set of traffic lights, it started idling funky, and it was terrible. Turned out this side popped off and was just leaking vacuum everywhere. And yeah, the vacuum on the boost gauge went down to like -9 or something, when it's normally -19. So I was losing a shitload of vacuum from here. So I put some hose clamps on there. Now it won't come off, so hopefully that's only a minor thing, but definitely consider doing that if you're boosting a Renesis. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is I'm changing the wastegate springs. So I've had some problems with boost control. Sometimes I get 8 psi, other times I get like 5.5. So I was using those two springs, which that looks like a red and gold or red and natural, I don't fucking know. And this one is a green and natural. But I also have a black one as well, black and yeah, but I don't know what the fuck that color is. It's like a gold color, but it's more like a natural unpainted color, and then there's black on them. So they're all the same. Anyway, so I got to work out which spring I'm going to use, because obviously I had these two in there, and I was getting 5.5 to 6 psi without a boost controller. And then trying to crank the boost up, sometimes it was 9, sometimes it was 8, sometimes it was 5. Yeah, it was all over the place. So I'm hoping use a bigger spring, more clamping force on the wastegate diaphragm, better boost control. But I'll look these up to see what colours these are and what they do before I go swapping them out. Okay, so according to this little chart thingy here from Teal, the green one is 0.2 bar in the MVR, and the red one is 0.3 bar, and the black one is 0.4 bar. So I'm thinking we put the black one in and the green one, and that'll give us 0.6 bar. Instead of 0.5, which is when I had the red and the green, it was 0.5. Otherwise I could run the green and the red and the black, and that would be what, 0.7. No, that's too high. Yeah, I'll work out that. I'll work it out, come back. Okay, so I found this one as well. This is from Mamba. But apparently the default one, the green one, is 2.5 psi, the red one is 4.5. So I was running 7 psi spring and I was getting 5.5 to 6, so that's a little bit down. Where the black one is 5. So I'm thinking I might try the black one and the green one and see if I get a decent result. Otherwise I might just have to order another spring, because yeah, that's not ideal. But you know, I'm happy to run 7, but if it's 7.5 and I'm dropping to 6.5 or 7, then it's better than 5.5. So I guess we'll just chuck it in and see what happens. Okay, so as you can see, getting out of the car is a pain in the ass. New springs are in. That was a lot. That was a lot more force needed to put it back on than it was to get it off. Getting it on, like, I got this much room. It's a pain in the ass. Anyway, so those two little springs definitely weren't as beefy as these two bigger ones. Even though it's only, what, 0.5, 0.05, 0.1 of a bar or something like that. More. I think those springs have a lot more force behind them for back pressure, so anyway, we'll see what that's like now. Now, it should be 0.75 bar or 0.7 bar rather than 0.65 or 0.6, so yeah, should increase the boost a little bit and give me a little bit more control, hopefully. But yeah, it's getting cold out here, so I'm going to go inside. Alright, so we're in the car now. I'm just going to record this log so we can actually get some information from it. So record. Car's at 80 degrees, 76 degrees now, so should be fine. By the time I actually get out of here, it should be closer to 80, 85. Alright. Oh no. I got a steering wheel fault code. God damn it. How do we change? We got gate pressure. That should be 6 psi. Sensitivity, we'll turn that right down to 0. So we should only see gate pressure on number 1. Okay. Now, why is my power steering playing up again? Alrighty, go check this out. So I got a power steering light on and I got no power steering whatsoever. God damn it. Normally when this happens, I pull the connectors off, put them back on and it works again. So I gotta do that and I'll come back. Okay, so we are back again. Yeah, unplug the power steering connectors underneath above the radiator and turn it back on and off again and it worked. So let's do another video of this. Need to reboot my laptop. Okay, turn it on, record it, and reset. So now we've got air intake temperature at 15 degrees. It's looking a lot better. Make sure the microphone's not in the wrong fucking spot. Let's put it on the other side. Don't want to be hearing seatbelt fucking noises the whole time now. Alright, see what we're doing. Everybody gets out of the way. I had to wait for the slowest car in the world. Now we're getting some temperature. So we've got 87 degrees engine coolant temperature and 17 degrees intake temperature. As I thought, as things heat up, it'll get hotter. Because, yeah, the turbo is going to heat it up quite a bit. But then intercooler should cool it down, you would hope. But it is pretty damn cold at the moment. Like winter's finally decided it's going to come. nose gauge a little bit. God damn. That kicks hard. That kicked very hard. I'm hoping it's not the wrong springs. Boost group 1. And SP1, whatever the hell that is. PSI. That's concerning. So if 9.7 or 9.5 is gate pressure, that's going to be a bit of a problem. So that one spring then would be 0.7 bar, which is 14 PSI. We'll figure it out in a sec. Try a couple more times and see what we're dealing with. Don't specifically want to run 10 PSI as an all-day spring. It's hoping for 7.5 to 8, and then boost controller can take it to 9.5 to 10. But 10 PSI is danger. Okay, so that was only 4.8 PSI. But I haven't really put my foot down that much. So I guess I'm going to have to and just see what happens. That might be a bit interesting. Yeah, see me. There we go. Yeah, that's a bit better. So I guess we'll go... Yeah, we'll go through the back way of the suburb and see what we're dealing with. Give us a bit more time to play with it. Could be the spring wasn't settled or something, but who knows. 1.769 absolute load. Mass airflow 240 grams a second, and that's not even really pushing it. Jesus. 5193 RPM, 20 degree air intake temperature, which is good. It's fucking heats better than the 50 that it was, but I haven't sat still for more than like this amount of time, so yeah, I guess we'll see. Fuck, it kicks hard at 8. Holy shit. And obviously the temperature's a bit lower now, so it is going hard. Like it comes on and just goes around and you just go boom and you're like, holy shit. It's really got that 2-stroke wind up. Get into power band. But everyone seems to be doing 65 k's an hour or 70 k's an hour in an 80 k an hour zone. So, whatever. Yeah, I mean, air intake temperature's going up and down, so that's a good sign. 19 degrees is probably what the ambient air temperature is. I'll probably have to check it, but I'm pretty sure it was about 17 degrees when we left, and we're close to the road. But then it should be drawing in colder air, so our intercooler's probably getting a little bit warm now as well, so that doesn't help things. We'll see. That is a cop car right there, which is not ideal. So I'm going to turn that light off before he sees me. It's going to make coming through here very difficult. Because now I can't go into boost because there's a cop right in front of me. What impeccable timing that is, huh? That's just the universe telling me not to do stupid shit, I guess. I can hear water slushing around. I wonder where the hell that's coming from. Third gear into the roundabout at 20-30 k's an hour. Not happy with that. Stay in third. Get some temperature into everything. He seems to be turning left, thank God. How much can come up behind me or something stupid. .6 psi. It just wants to go. Like, it really wants to just keep going. .6 psi. Turn the light back on now. See what we can get. 8.7 psi. Fortunately, I do that and my gap closes. Now I've got to go a little bit slower. People in front. .6. Gets up and goes. Now, the tune is technically tuned up until 10 psi. I've done 10 psi before I changed the spring. It just wasn't for very long. So yeah, the VE is probably a little bit out, but the MAF is overreading anyway. So it's adding too much fuel as it is. But we'll see in the log when we get back what it's like. But we already we had a 6% fuel trim, plus 6%, now we've got a minus 1.6. That's interesting. And if that comes back when we go to, when we go down to idle, it goes to plus 3.9. So that would be due to the cold air, and that's correcting by 6% roughly, which has added it onto the MAF. So what was reading 100% before will read 103% now. 103, 130? Yeah, 3%. Jesus, that hurt my brain. We're looking good. Just slow motherfuckers with trailers around here now. Really need to go to an industrial area, I think, and just test this, because I can't do it through these streets at 5:30 in the afternoon. Just not a good idea. So we're back at home now and having a look at this log. Now I've already done a few adjustments off camera because I was running out of time, and I had to go pick up some new number plates and get ready for Rotary Riot. So this was all done before Rotary Riot, but I'm recording this part after. So I'm just trying to show everyone like the steps taken from where we went to where we are now, just to try and, because being that I've been doing this now for about a year on my own car, backwards and forwards, up and down. Every time I change something, I got to come back in here and readjust the math. So, someone else doing it just on their naturally aspirated engine wouldn't be anywhere near this difficult, but someone else doing it on a turbo Renesis using a stock ECU with VersaTuner or even Mazda Edit probably would be running into the same kind of problems when the weather changes, if they haven't corrected for it. If they move the IAT sensor, for instance, that changes it a lot as well. Just all those things come into play. So I'm just trying to make it a bit easier for anyone that's actually watching this and wanting to know how to do it. This is how I do it. So we're looking at this log for what we did. So you can pretty much see like what I did when I got back, the next day, because it was too fucking hot. Was I put the black spring in, just the black and goldy coloured one, and that gave me 7 psi, so it must have been just a 0.5 bar spring by itself, and I've been running that since, and it's been awesome because it's been 7 psi all the time. I haven't had a drop below 7, unless I don't put my foot down enough, obviously. Anyway. This log, obviously, they went up to 9.8 psi, but I was reading 10.9. And what I've had to do is in VersaTuner, so let's just open up the VersaTuner. So we do one thing at a time. And every damn time I open it, it always goes full screen. So under load targeting and load calculation IAT adjustment, I've set it all to 1. So I got sick and tired of this fucking thing messing with my logs every time I fucking drove. So obviously, as temperature decreases in the intake temperature, density increases of molecules of the air or whatever. So technically, you have more air coming in at cooler temperatures than what you would have at 35 degrees. So this is important, but not when you're trying to tune a math and the fucking thing keeps changing, because these corrections keep coming into play. And if I reset them all, I'll be looking anywhere between plus 2.2% to plus 9.6%, and then taking out 4% here. And then if I stopped in traffic, it'd be taking out 10%, and the log was just getting completely screwed up because of it. So setting all this to 1 pretty much just meant that no matter what happened in the air, the temperature was always going to be the same, and the temperature going into the engine is always around 18 to 25 degrees anyway, unless I'm going into boost, and it might be a little bit higher. So right now, set it all to 1, and now I don't have to worry about it fucking changing, because it drove me nuts. So this log here, so being that it was more just to get a baseline of the IAT, so you can see the IAT started at 19 degrees, and then went into boost a couple of times. See the little red line up here. The IAT increased, then it didn't go into boost, then it decreased, and then next time went into boost, it increased, and so on. So obviously the intercooler is doing its job. As for how well, I couldn't tell you, because I've never actually logged to this extent with a proper intercooler. The one I've got is just a cheap eBay one. It's like $100, but it seems to work and it does the job. So the other thing that we were checking in here is the long-term fuel trim that I was seeing definitely was because of the temperature change in the atmosphere, because I'm in Brisbane, North Brisbane, and it was about 17 degrees Celsius, which is pretty cold for us. And at the day that I'm recording this, it's like 6 degrees in the morning. So it'll completely throw this out entirely. So now that I've set everything to 1, I went for another drive, and I also corrected the math for all these ones. I did the full amount this time instead of half. And now we've got a log, let's just say like this one here. This is the night that I did it. And this is a log. So you can see, move that damn blue thing out of the way. Everything is looking pretty damn good. And this log was, was about 40 minutes, half an hour or so. 2600 seconds, so whatever that is in minutes. Not even going to try and guess. Yeah, anyway, so you can see most of the trims are in minus 0.15 or plus 2, apart from a couple of little outliers here. But yeah, not concerned about them. I'm more worried about the solid green ones. And I just followed the blue line here, so you can see where the blue line goes as you move the graph at the bottom. So that's the part that I follow now when I do my math calibration, is where it's going rather than all this crap down the bottom here that always skews the results. So now I've done all that, and we went for a drive. So I went for a drive Saturday morning before heading up to Rotary Riot, or the BP at Burpengary, to meet the other RX-8s to head up to Rotary Riot. And this is what I logged. And I did notice that the math was reading really good, so everything's still under 2%, which is awesome. But because I took some out of the math and added some to the math, I did see some issues with the fueling. So I was getting some leaner AFRs, 12.5, 12.48, 12.18, 13 there, 13 there, 13 there. So if we turn that off, yeah, so all these areas here, for instance, I just wanted to add a little bit more fuel in to these areas to make them a little bit more smoother and a bit more realistic to what I'm looking for, which is where I ended up with this log. So this is the pretty much leaving BP, heading onto the highway. It was only a short log just to test what was happening with it. And yeah, the maximum load, which was 1.615, which was 9 psi, and I actually saw 9 psi. Then the boost controller kicked in and it dropped it down to about 6 or 7 psi. I think it was about 7.2. And that's when I realized I had a problem with here as well, because you can see I was pretty much holding 7 psi the entire time, but the load that it was logged at is saying it's 6 psi. And then as we get further down the rev range, the load even dropped to 4.7 psi. So now it's a little bit too low, but the AFRs are looking really good. So what I had to do for this was I went into volumetric efficiency and pretty much added fuel all the way through here, and then interpolated it across. So there's a fair bit more fuel in here now because I've taken some away from the math. So under the sensor calibration and math calibration, I've taken some out of the top here because it was reading 13 psi instead of 9, which then resulted in running leaner because VE was tuned to a higher math reading. So then I had to add more to the VE. And now I got to the point where now the math is now reading a little bit too low. So now I've got to add a little bit. And this is what I mean by chasing your tail, by adding the entire amount. Because if I had done half the amount, it probably would have been fine. But anyway, it is what it is. I can do this. It just takes some time. So looking at the log now, as far as this is concerned, it's, there wasn't enough information there to really say, it was only logged for like maybe 3 minutes. But you can see the pattern here, follow the blue line up, and then it just, skyrockets up to here. So, and I pretty much went to red line at that point. And looking at the actual AFR, so still 12 fours, 12s, 11, and it's going down apart from this one here and these couple here. But that would have been probably as I was taking my foot off or changing gears, so going up and then change gears. So you see the blue arrow starts to go to the left, and then take foot off, change gear, and then go back on, and you'll see, same deal. So 7,500 RPM to 8,000 RPM was taking my foot off. That's why there's a little bit leaner in these ones. But these ones here need to be addressed. So the only thing is now I know that this part here is reading too low. So 4.7, 6 PSI, 5.7, 6, 5.5, 5.1, 4.7, 4.3. I need to add a little bit more to the math to correct this problem now. So this is what I mean by changing your IAT correction to just 1 across the board, just so you can get your math calibration right, because every time the damn weather changes, you come in here to do a log, and the weather's always going to be different unless you do all of your logs and your calibration at the exact same time, back to back on the same day. Then, unlike with me, for instance, when I'm doing it on and off over a couple of days, it's going to cause a problem. So I just set it all to 1, get a proper benchmark, and then it can deal with it after that and reapply the multiplier. So I'm just going to go in and add a little bit more to the math to correct this, and then probably have to take a little bit out of the VE to adjust it, because I added some in the VE to bring the AFRs down a little bit. And yeah. Alrighty, so what I've just done is I've just added 3% to the spot that we're having problems. So essentially you can have a look through here and we go, right, well, we know that this is right. So this is a low boost and this shouldn't be dropping down that low. Actually, let's find a better spot. That's a bit better. So 7.7, which gauge was 7.5, coming down to here, which is 4.6. So what I've done is gone 4.16 volts on mass airflow sensor and had a look at where it starts to drop. So pretty much about here. So that's 3.83 volts. And I've come in here and gone right from here to about here. So that'd be 4.18, 3.8 volts, and added 3% to it. So just times it by 1.03, and then just interpolated it to smooth it out, because it did cause a bit of a rise and then drop back down again. So that's good enough for me. Now that's going to also add 3% fuel into this area here, which there's already a drop here. So as you can see right there, 11.8, but that's fine. 11.8 is perfect. 12.4, 12.5, and all that is too high. So that's a little bit too lean. Now, we'll have a look at the latest log here. Just make sure this is the right log. Yeah, so essentially that's going to add a little bit more fuel. So if anything, we may need to take a little bit out of the VE now because we've added more to the math, but we'll see how we go. So I need to do another pull, get a benchmark for this, make sure that the AFR is reading good. But as you can see, like from this little dive here, so that's because we've spiked up to 9 PSI, 161% load, and then all of a sudden dropped to 140% load. So the fuel's already been queued to inject and it's already there. So that's why we're seeing a rich spot and then leaning out again, because it's correcting. But after that, this whole point from here to here, when I take my foot off the accelerator, is just, it's a nice line. So it's pretty damn close to what I'm wanting. And yeah, obviously the IAT temperature, yeah, it's looking like the intercooler is doing its job. So I am happy with that. So I don't think there's any correction needed right now. That 3% will smooth out that problem. And I've also reduced the e-boost down as well. So wastegate spring or wastegate pressure on the e-boost, which is when the e-boost starts to give the wastegate actual pressure, was set to 6 PSI. So that's why you see that sharp rise to 9 PSI and then it drops down to 7.5 to 7 to 7.5, is because I had that setting too high. So I've dropped it down to 5, just to get rid of this little rise just here. So it should be, it climbs here and then smooths out and then joins up with here. There shouldn't be this rise and then drop again. And yeah, that's why it caused this. So I think we'll leave that tune here now. And yeah, now it's just work on the boost control and turn the boost up because I want to see 9 psi the whole way across, and make sure the boost controller is actually giving it 9 psi. And then inspect the AFR, make sure that's all good. And then yeah, pretty much start working on the adaptronic probably tomorrow, I reckon. And yeah, we'll leave it at that. So hopefully that works out. And yeah, I've been meaning to do this video for a while, but it's just, yeah, it's been on the go. I've been super busy the past couple of weeks, so I haven't really had time to do much. I've got like 4 other videos that I've got to post up as well. So I'll get those done over the next day as well. Post all those up because obviously I've got an e-boost now and I had to 3D print a holder for that. So you'll see all that in the next video as well. All right, so as you can see, it definitely helps to see what the intake temperature is. Going off those logs, I can see how much the intercooler actually does and what the intake temperature is after the intercooler versus, before a pull versus after a pull. So we know that at least the intercooler is doing its job. And it doesn't take too long to cool down, which is good. But yeah, it's still 15 seconds or so from the time you do a pull, you see the 35, 40 degree temperature, and then it drops back down again. So yeah, not sure if I'm going to replace that intercooler with a better one or just see how we go. I mean, for now it works, and yeah, it seems to be holding all right, so I might just leave it for the moment. But yeah, doing some correction to that math just to bring the load calculation down and add a bit more to the VE definitely will help as well, because yeah, the less load that the math is reading, the more advanced the timing is, so the more torque technically you have and so on. So it just means that whatever you take out of the math, you have to add into the VE if you're at this point. So I knew that before I did this, that the fueling was good. I was seeing 11.4, 11.8 pretty much in boost all the time, and taking 8% out of the math essentially meant that I had to go into the VE and adjust that as well. So now that that's underway and being fine-tuned again, yeah, I'm happy with that. And now we've got to wait for a little bit warmer temperature to maybe apply some IAT correction, but we'll see how we go with that. For now, because it's no longer a naturally aspirated, it's forced induction, I might just leave the IAT correction at 1 because I don't want that changing all the time, and I can't have it taking 10% out and then throwing the math out if the boost is going up. And yeah, anyway, we deal with that. But I really want to get into the adaptronic now because I'm getting sick of dealing with the math. It's a constant loop. Every time the weather changes, I've got to change something, and I'm sick of doing it. So yeah, go to a map-based, speed density-based tune. It's going to be a lot better. So anyway, we'll leave it there, and we'll see you in the next video.